Optimization is a whole being thing,
Exactly.
right? It involves your body, your mind, your spirit, your emotions, and going back to the therapeutic point that you made, especially Rudy, I think that the biggest problem nowadays is when guys and girls receive the marketing material, how it's promoted to people. What do we usually see, right? We see guys with six packs
cheesy.
and some kind of promiscuous scene, sex scene.
Always focus on the aesthetics.
Right, aesthetics. And those are important things, right? Like I always like to say, if you have a high fitness standard like we do, hormone replacement therapy, especially in your 50s and 40s, is definitely going to improve, right? Or if you have some kind of ED, or maybe your libido has gone low, or you have some performance issues in the bedroom, of course, this is about deepening the level of intimacy with your partner. But those are not the most important parts, we think. Like philosophically, I think that the brain effects, right? The cognitive effects that doing hormone replacement in a therapeutic environment, under therapeutic doses, what that can produce, the mental clarity. It kind of, one of the typical comments that we get, right, Doc, is it's like the lights came back on.
Right. Well, as you guys know, I mean, in my book, and you know this better than anybody. He knows my book better than I do. I mean, the reality is that people will look at their life as pre and post optimization, right? Like if you've never gone down this path, and you do it the right way, working with a physician like Dr. Rudy here, or any of the physicians that we know now in our network, because there's thankfully a lot of guys doing this right, a lot of women doing this right. Yeah. You will truly classify your life as pre-optimization and post-optimization. As you said, the light comes on, the energy, the sexual function, the physical strength and the stamina, and just, again, it's all really energy, right? Everything is energy balance. And so when you're deficient hormonally, what do you think the percentage? I know I asked you that in my podcast, but what do you think the percentage of people on planet Earth right now that are hormonally deficient?
It's huge.
I mean, we have 20-year-olds calling the office nonstop every week with ED issues. I'll speak for my side. I started testosterone at 30 years old, and it was because of an ED reason. I tried everything you can imagine that was natural, and when I got on testosterone, as you said, the pre and post, as soon as I felt the effect, and I felt the light bulb down there turn on, I knew I was never coming off.
Right. Well, I mean, that's what I tell people, because guys ask me that question all the time on forums and social media and stuff like that, and they're like, yeah, but what happens when you want to come off? And I'm like, why would you ever want to come off?
Would you want to? I tell people all the time, you don't have to do this, but
it goes
you're
back to the
want
bodybuilding mentality of that you have to cycle on and off,
narcissistic,
cruise and blast and cruise doses, which that's not how we do things.
No, well, let me ask you, Rudy. So maybe just for the audience to quantify this, because again, you just said it. I think the bodybuilding, the performance arena, a lot of people have misconceptions about.
Still have that stigma.
Yeah, I mean, to you, so again, to clearly define this, what are the most noticeable symptoms from someone suffering from a hormonal deficiency?
That's the problem with low T. The symptoms are very non-specific.
Right.
So you cannot say, as physicians, we are taught to really keep a very broad differential diagnosis. Meaning when I have a list of symptoms, what are the possible causes?
Sure.
And I may have 6 or 7 causes, and then I try to scratch off.
Process of
It's
elimination.
detective work that we do. So the main symptoms that we see, it's low energy, feeling tired. The libido is a big thing, decreased libido, decreased strength of erections. I don't even like to call it ED anymore. I call it EP, erectile problems. Either you don't have a full erection, you feel like you're not yourself, the premature ejaculation. So many issues can happen, and testosterone may be linked. So the general public and most physicians still think about low T or testosterone therapy for muscles and for sex. They don't think about anything else. So what we've noticed, it is that besides those, what you get first, as we were saying, the brain mental benefits that you get. To me, that was huge. Since I started testosterone at 48, I want to write a book. I've opened 3 businesses. We have a lot of patients who tell us. We have a realtor who told us, because of testosterone therapy, I made $1 million last year. Because he became more ambitious, more alpha, more driven. So I have another lawyer who told me, once he got on testosterone therapy, he found the guts to open his own law firm, and now he's thriving. So something was holding him back. So this mental ambition, my patients call it quote unquote blah feeling. It's not depression. It is kind of whatever.
You're ambivalent.
I'm like whatever.
That's
so the brain is a big one. taking a nap in the afternoon for men. This is something I hear a lot.
Unheard of for us.
Like, that you say that your energy dips. So a lot of those. But now, if somebody comes to me with those symptoms, it could be thyroid, it could be obstructive sleep apnea. I've diagnosed a few patients with hypercalcemia, primary hyperparathyroidism. So my differential diagnosis is broad. But when I have a patient who comes to me with all those symptoms, most of the times they already seen their primary care physician, their urologist, and their endocrinologist. And then they'll tell him the testosterone was 350. Again, normal testosterone is 300 to 1200.
Right.
If they're 305, they'll tell him, I'm sorry, it's not your testosterone, it's in your head. And they'll have no problems giving that patient an SSRI, a depression medication.
Crazy.
So for me, by the time the patient comes to me, they already said, Doc, I went to my doctor, all my labs are normal, maybe my cholesterol is a little low, my vitamin D is low. He told me I'm fine. And I look at him in the eye and I'm like, how are you feeling? He's like, Doc, I'm not good.
Right.
I can't perform. My mind is down on that. All I want to do is sleep. I can't play with my kids. I'm not good.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that's when we come.
So this is the critical point of this discussion, because what you just said is the separation from emergency, sick care, illness medicine into optimization. So for you, it's a total paradigm shift. And this is what people who are watching this have to understand is like, and again, we want to make exceptions. There's always exceptions, but you cannot go to your general care practitioner, primary care doctor, and ask them to be optimized. It's not what they do, as you know, as you've already said. That's not how they are trained conventionally. So you have to work with a physician, usually at a specific clinic like your guys, or somebody who has an experiential body of work, such as yourself, who's been working with patients on how to do this. And so again, it's like you said, it's a mindset shift. It's a giant paradigm that people who are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s who want to look and feel like we do and what we're talking about have to realize they cannot go to their family doctor. It's unlikely, again, there's exceptions, but it's unlikely they're gonna be able to go to their family doctor. So again, you have to seek the right help, and obviously that's what we're here about.
And it's funny. Go ahead.
This is where I think besides the physician being congruent with what he's prescribing, meaning drink your own Kool-Aid. If you believe in it, you should be on it. If you have the symptoms,
100%.
Besides that,
Right.
you also have to have a platform that's educational.
Right.
Because this is still so new for most, as Doc said, most of his doc's friends still think that testosterone causes so many different issues.
Right.
So we have built a platform where we're educating the patient to empower him, so when he does go to his PCP and he tells him, oh, testosterone is gonna cause prostate cancer, well, I have all these studies here that show otherwise. So they're not only just receiving the medication and being blindsided, but they're actually getting educated in the process to understand what they're doing. A lot of, and I don't wanna bash on clinics, but in the sense, I'm really not. Just most clinics, what do? It's a business. So they have salespeople. And what are salespeople gonna do? They're gonna sell.
Right.
Our team, everybody's on therapy.
Right.
And because they have had a life-changing experience. So we don't have a sales team. We have a team that educates the patient. Because if I get the patient to understand what he's doing
and why,
and why he's doing it, there's no convincing. Now that person is empowered to fight back as a way, I'm doing the right thing.
And in control.
Well, I want to give you guys credit real quick. You guys are the best that I've seen in the entire United States.
Don't say
that. No. Hold on, let me finish.
I'll take it.
In your educational materials, in your emails. Look, I know all the docs. Nobody does the quality of critical thinking emails that you guys send out to your patients, because I'm obviously in that loop. He sends me all the emails, and all of them are very educational. And they're very specific and they're very relatable. You learn well by reading my book. And you broke it. I mean, honestly, you broke it. You guys break it all down in a very cogent fashion for people to understand. I mean, let's face it, guys. We all know this. People are distracted, okay? So and no one is going to take the time to read anything today unless it's extremely engaging and relatable to them at their level, right? So, and again, we're talking about complex terms. We're talking about endocrinology, nutrition, as you said, thyroid.
Fertility.
Right. I mean, there's so many different things that we're talking about, but you have to make it relatable to the average person. And honestly, as an author and reading now and understanding like where the level is, it was 8th grade when I wrote the book in 2016, the first book in 2015, and now it's in 5th grade. That's now where we are. 5th grade is the average reading level. So if you write above that, nobody's even going to read your book.
They won't get past the first chapter.
So your emails are great because again, they're short, they're to the point, and they're relatable. And that's where we have to be now, especially in, again, educating the public, because like you said, it's about the platform and the message.